Now let's switch gears and humbly request attention of your ears. Strongly rooted in the activist spoken word tradition, Staceyann Chin is a spoken word poet, performing artist, and LGBT rights political activist whose work has been published in the New York Times and the Washington Post. However, it's her live performances that express a real power. Her fire that she brought to 2017 MTN Bushfire with her powerful words moved so many people, me included. In times like this, we need her words even more. So world, lend us your ear, snap your fingers, and welcome Staceyann Chin.
Today I'm reading a poem called Passing from Crossfire. And I wrote this one maybe when I was like, I don't know, 20, very little bit. I was a young Femi dyke. Anyways, Passing. Downtown Brooklyn is easy for me. Long, sheer skirts do little to hide my open-legged stride. See-through, button-down, sleeveless blouses hug my bodies so tight my nipples are barely concealed by the carefully chosen push-up bra from Macy's. I'm a femme, a real lipstick lesbian, so I can pass, smelling like a straight girl in my Victoria's Secret satin panties, pressing against the men who walk alongside me, passing the way my yellow-skinned grandmothers passed as white women sat in judgment on plantation stools overlooking fields of cotton and sugarcane, sweetened by gallons of black blood and sweat, running down thick between the full breasts of women who lie still as blue-eyed men pierce their hearts deep through the folds joining their legs. It's J Street Borough Hall and my friend is in trouble. Someone takes the time to notice that the young boy is really a young girl and the red, white and blue jacket is not enough to cover the tattoo on her belly. Two naked women wrapped around each other like pretzels that came out different from the rest. It takes 2 minutes for them to break 2 ribs. One for her lover who passes all the time. The other she keeps for herself. And as those bones set, her sorrow breaks wide open because she knows she can never pass. She knows that butch bodies are too strong, too strange, too dark, like those bronze bodies that smell too thickly of rebellions and revolutions. And we know that revolutions take time and sacrifice and lives to turn this world all the way around. And sometimes it makes me angry that they think I look like them, so they can convince themselves that I am okay. But I hasten to show them the tangled wool between my thighs. And I am quick to remind them that the funk from me can only rise when my woman touches me, and I can only come when she calls my name. We who do not belong to the majority, we need to let them know that we do not wish to pass as semi-white or almost straight or nearly normal so we can hold down corporate jobs, stroking narrow-minded dicks so we can be invited to family dinners, to disown our brothers and sisters who cannot pass, who will not pass. We must let them know that after these broken bones have healed, that we will still be here. That long after these bruised hearts have ceased to hurt, that we will still be here. And long after our mothers no longer weep, we will still be here, still gay, still black, still non-normative, still outside of the mainstream, still radical, still outside of what they would want us to be. We will still be survivors in the face of this blatant bigotry that will one day force all of us who are called different to lace arms and strike back. This one is called Tweet This Motherfucker. And it was in response to the man who tweeted at me. You're a dirty carpet munching cunt that belongs in my kitchen, washing my dishes and cock. Your test tube baby is a freak of nature. Write a poem about that. I wrote this when Zuri was maybe, I don't know, months old, maybe weeks old. Now she's 8 and I still feel the same. Tweet this motherfucker. Obviously, you are a rotting dick, an asswipe, an open sore existing among the worst tumors that plague humanity. You are an apology someone should have made to women centuries ago, and today you remain the very reason abortions must remain legal and available to every woman who finds herself carrying the figurative fetus of your fetid misogyny. Get the fuck out of my womb, you hater of your own origin. You forget you came from some woman's cunt. The pussy you so deride provided a path for you to get here, spewing your sick soliloquy. Your existence also makes a good argument for capital punishment. Only I hold myself accountable to a more compassionate code of ethics. So I will refrain from advocating for the archaic quartering of you. I will also resist the urge to imagine you shackled in sequestered servitude, kneeling at the altar of some woman's holy punani, washing her feet with your mouth. Only I would not wish her the degradation of your tongue on her flesh, your feet on her floors. I will spend my entire life trying to protect my daughter from the slime of your ignorance, the sweat of your hate. Coward that you are, hiding behind the intangible shroud of the virtual. Your keystrokes are the only ones with any fucking power, you impotent, unimportant little man. You splatter the male identity with the putridity you exude. You rotting apple, you venereal wound refusing to heal. You would have us conclude that most men are like you, but for the stellar examples of men in my life, I would think you the norm. Your actions might inform the love I cradle for those small boys in my circle, earnestly learning how to be better than the monster you consistently choose to be. Far and away, you fucking Frankenstein, you frighten me with your ability to keep breathing, your inclination to replicate, to recruit, to keep pressing the boot of your discrimination upon the necks of generation after generation after generation. The only thing that prevents me from raising arms and going guerrilla after you with a fucking gun is this global collective dedication to the eradication of your kind across all the borders of feminism and race. Those spaces held wire against the throat of inequality. Women continue to resist you, heart and body, with cunts and collarbones. We kill your cowardice in bedrooms and kitchens. We rebuke all you offer as fact. The act of tweeting something does not make it true, you ignorant motherfucker. You are only a narrow opinion constructed poorly. In 140 characters, your cavalry is not nearly committed as the global scope of mine. From Nairobi to New York City, from Kingston, Jamaica to fucking Jakarta, those litanies we are forced to compose will stand in evidence to your crumbling motherfucking tyranny. Time will hold your actions as crimes against humanity, and as it was with every disease that came before you, the strongest, most admirable parts of being human will keep adapting over and over again. Watch us adapt, watch us morph, watch us hatch into a power reminiscent of Harriet Tubman and Sojourner Truth. History has already shown us what does not kill us will only make this resistance stronger. Are you listening, motherfucker? What does not kill us will only make our resistance stronger. Can you hear me, motherfucker? What does not kill us will only make us stronger. What does not kill us will only make this resistance stronger. I'm reading from my latest book today, Crossfire, A Litany for Survival. And the poem I'm reading is called For You. Around and about the edge of things. Seasons, books, loves, truths, and other follies, followed by palm, divine, lies, and wonder. Work and wells dug with the bones of broken vows. Nothing is meant to last. Move too fast and the fury will come, brutal. slow killing on a floor designed for breaking things. Hearts, knees, chains, cryptic like dust sprinkled on the grave of an enemy. Write me poems, build me pillars. You will eventually tear them down. Weep, whirl, wonder what happened. What happened to that small girl, gentle like rain? Clean water from the tropics, none of this acid falling from harsh skies. Come back to me, my Jamaica. Simple like racism is just prejudice in shades. Easy like tripping was only over a rock. Dock me 2 days pay for not showing up. Not like this kiss me ass reality where they just fire you for asking permission to be absent, to be free of these cubic rooms, these desks nailed to white walls of forever. Eternity is a long ass time, grime or palace. My toes like to be done once a week at least. I like a massage. It frees the shoulders for dancing, the legs for running towards things. My mother has been absent from my phone for months now. No answer. No way to tell if she alive or deathly afraid of living somewhere. Anywhere I turn, I am so frightened of becoming my mother. Lonely old woman, no bells to speak of, only the memory of what she never did right. Tolling, tolling, tolling for her, for me, for her 3 children, oceans between me and the boy I first adored, brother. Grandma has been dead years and some. Today the rain came in sheets, grey glimmer, glaring angry at New York. This town is not for the lonely, or only for the lonely. Sad, the wing of October falls. Cold, cold, mutinous, my muscles refuse to move. What good is dancing when the heart still lies beneath the earth of things suffered? Sometimes survival is not good enough. Wear me thin, loud girl, pin me to your chest, display me, clay and dust. I am only human, flailing, failing, falling, fleeing. Who am I fooling? If you came for me, I would follow you anywhere. Falls are these furrows, these furies, these flippant ferocities of denial. For you, I would fold freely, feel the fetters float away. For you, I would follow all follies. For you, I would follow all follies. For you, I would follow all follies. I would. Hi, my name is Staceyann. I am Jamaican. I am Chinese. I always feel a little odd, like an imposter saying Chinese, because I had very little to do with my father, so I have very little connection to my Chinese heritage. I'm a New Yorker living in this moment, this crazy pandemic moment in New York. The poem I'm reading is called Letter to My Father. It can be found in the collection Crossfire by A Litany of Survival. Letter to my father. Father, the A train is late again. Only moments to spare and I find myself thinking of you. Penciled tall in my memory, looming a full 5 feet from the ground. Rain pelting into me, slicking strands of hair to my aching neck, urging me to hold you responsible for the aborted weddings, the whispered stories about my mother, the gaping secret she tried to take with her to Canada. I feel it now, digging into my memories, infant bruises, bleeding muddles in my mind if I pause for more than the Manhattan Minute, inking my pen with nostalgia, mocking my accent in America, the immigrant chewing the chalky flesh of an imported mango. On days like this, you invade this need I have for women, to swallow air with them, breathing backs curved taut against frightened bellies. Silver spoons slipped easy into each other, reflecting the fury of the faces that are never quite sure why they fit together so well and why the rightness of that geometry is so very hard to defend. On cold days like this, I yearn for the space between my grandmother's knees, the ancient smell of the amniotic soothing as she pulled the tangles from my hair. With you, it was always winter. Your white skin, thin and yellow, showing me the ice inside. On grey days like this, I want to make you see that I am an excellent housekeeper. Hear me speak out for little girls. Know that I consort with rampant homosexuals to taste the sorrow of women who have not yet found their voices. Beneath this thin sheet of ice, I want to beg you to look close at this girl who moves with the grace of a duck. Ankles turned in just like you, shoulders never quite straight. Look now, Father, for soon she will be gone. This girl loved by men who gave of themselves in bracelets and blood and being, walked in unholy places because they believed in me. They never quite measured up to what I imagined you to be. Men always too sensitive or too brash, wanted too much or too little, always fell short of your rejection. Money spent regular, exact figures unsure. I collected the stenciled square on the first of every month. I carried it careful, a delicate confetti flake. I caressed it, fleshy thumb against flat paper until your signature was almost invisible. The bank cashed it anyways. Everybody knew. And Father, I know you will never be proud of me. And I might someday stop trying to make you out of this lettered train, rushing across the torn and twisted tracks of this runaway doctor's recollection. Until then, I live in New York City. And there is so much to be done here. The city always moving fast, and me, I'm just doing the best I can to keep up. Hi there, my name is Staceyann Chin. I am a Jamaican lesbian. I am part Asian, part Black. I live in New York City. I'm reading Song of Survival from my collection of poems called Crossfire, a litany for survival. Song of Survival. Strange wonder I survived those blades, serrated and beating hard against the softest parts of me. So after all the first kisses, the last chances, the metered requiems and the regret, I left you the light white of your smile, teeth glinting pearls and promises, palms holding razor-sharp caresses, slow kisses seeping into my breath. I could not see your hands filled with layers of my flesh, meshed with my desire to see things work out. I stayed for much too long, ignored the blood leaving my body as salt, water, tears in tribute to what you took. I will never be able to give that to anyone else again. But sorrow is merely the beaten back of our flawed ecstasies. Flipped over and over and over again, we stop knowing the difference, begin to give deference to one or the other. It does not matter. A woman can break the red organ pumping life through the human body as easily as any man can. But for survival, I have learned nothing except this song. This hot knife of betrayal slicing thick through the mirrored expectations of me, disappointed in myself, and the I am so sorry's and the I never really meant to hurt you's. Yes, you did, you inconsiderate fuck. I traveled 3,000 miles and back for you, and still you fucked me over. The back of your hand across my face, my arms bruised under cotton, gauzy white and virgin. I denied my friends and their suggestions, carried your innocence on the small twist of my back. The weight of you almost broke me. But the flat of your palms have taught me that I have always been stronger than your fingers, wrapped firm around the cords in my frightened throat. I have learned that your cowardice and your bullshit and your continued attack on humanity means that I must speak. Means that I must wear the nectar-sweet scarring of your multiple orgasms on my sleeve, stripe them permanent so that others may see. For somewhere far away, and sometimes it is just in the room next door, a woman is swallowing the fist of someone else's anger, and I am begging her to find the fury to raise her hand in alarm, a weapon in defense of her dignity, pleading with her caged voice to rail in combat against the midnight crack of her bones, the early morning split of her lips, the everyday spill of our daughter's blood, the death of more than one nation. If I have learned nothing else from our bloody history together, I have learned to pitch this voice far beyond the secrets of our silent survival, to reach for the greater intention, to save more than my own life. Song of Survival. Hi, my name is Staceyann Chin. I am Jamaican. I am a lesbian, I am a New Yorker, I am hunkered down inside my house mostly, just like the rest of you. I hope you are safely down with someone who likes you, someone you like, and I hope you're paying attention to this. Those in power, because they use every opportunity to sell us more lies. It burrows angrily under my skin when I hear motherfuckers say this virus does not discriminate, as if everyone is equally carrying the cost of COVID-19. I suppose every brain is trying to make sense here of this moment, recreating community with families you can't see, friends you can't hold close, trapped as we all are inside the matrix with digital reminders of death ticking upwards in real time on multiple screens, the screaming statistics forcing us to scrutinize every sniffle, every cough, or confirmation that the corona has finally caught up with us. In this moment, to thwart your own expiration, you have to negotiate your relationships from afar. Siblings, parents, mentors, college mates, old classmates, exes, co-workers, people who do not reside with you, cannot physically share space with you. To the America that markets the ability to buy shoes and burgers whenever they want as freedom. A stay-at-home order is now state-sanctioned oppression, especially when it's mostly people of color in the ICU we're trying to save, gasping for oxygen for life. As usual, if white America does not see itself in the dying, death does not matter, because in this moment, those at risk are mostly Black and Latinx with underlying conditions, poor with no room to chart safe distance. In densely populated hoods, fresh vegetables cost more than processed cheese, so you travel longer for fruit. For work, you work longer hours for less, which means before this pandemic hit, you were already existing on the edge. You were probably first to lose your minimum wage job, and because your savings, what savings? If you had any savings, because who the fuck can save in an America where rent is higher than the mortgage payment you would make if you could only afford the down payment? For some, where we live is not always a place of safety. If you're incarcerated, if there's lead in the pipes that bring you water, if you are undocumented, if you're living with a domestic abuser, if there's a rapist in your house, if you are queer inside of a family that abhors it, we are not all in this together. Some people are far deeper in this shit than others. If you live far from a hospital, they tell us staying home is the safest bet for everyone. Except if your job is delivering supplies deemed essential, if you mop floors in a nursing home, if you cut chicken thighs in a meat factory, if you live in a low-income apartment building, you must open doors. Hundreds have opened, touched surfaces. Dozens have sneezed on, reach for door handles, elevator buttons, garbage chutes. At any moment, this virus could latch itself onto you, follow you home to your healthy 5-year-old daughter who will eventually die from a virus they told you only kills old people and sick people, as if the sick and elderly are acceptable collateral damage, as if losing an entire generation of grandmothers is not akin to losing entire libraries in one single fire. This moment may be too big for any one heart to hold it. It is no coincidence that our leaders are suggesting we ingest disinfectant by vein, purporting we radiate our insides with UV light. They couldn't quite kill us with crack and cocaine, so now they're not suggesting from official podiums that we do it for them with hydroxychloroquine. There couldn't be a better time to grab this moment by its throat, suffocate that systematic motherfucker, and change the inhumane working hours for the poor. Fix the healthcare system that has shown itself inadequate to care for anyone but the white-collar pimps and hustlers exploiting our deaths. This moment could be the moment we fix the housing crisis. And while we're at it, we should just demand the media stop reporting what bolsters ratings rather than what puts power in the hands of the people. What could we gain if we shifted away from the greed, from the speed of what corporations dictate? In this moment, we could actually decide what eventually emerges from this lockdown. We could demand more from ourselves, more from each other. I say, in this moment, we are particularly poised to bust the crap out of this fucking trapdoor, break the elastic strap of apathy, the lies we keep ingesting, stop pretending this old history of lies that keeps killing the most vulnerable among us. is true by repeating itself over and over and over again. So, I read that Kenny Rogers passed away today. So today I read that Kenny Rogers passed away, and as a Jamaican, I loved him, and I know that there are tons of other Jamaicans. Big love to Asif, who called me to commiserate today on the death of Kenny Rogers. And I wrote a poem that has his work in it, and shows you how deeply his work has informed our lives and the lives of Jamaican people. So I read this poem for and about Kenny Rogers. Well, more about us, but has Kenny Rogers in it. So Kenny Rogers died today, and I share this poem to say thank you for his work from my new book, Crossfire. It's called Know When to Fold, and of course, the song, anyways. When I was 6 years old, my brother was everything. Quintessential Jamaican boy, hard exterior, like we like our boys, unforgiving, like black men are encouraged to be. I adored him, frugal with his love as well as his money. His affections were conditional. I loved everything he did, and he loved him some Kenny Rogers. So I loved Kenny Rogers too. For 9 years, my brother was my only reflection. Both of us brown, both of us abandoned by our mother, him with lighter skin, straighter hair, but we were similar enough to see ourselves in each other, both hurt enough by the world to fiercely love each other. He loved me grudgingly. I endured him like an eager pup loves a reluctant owner. In charge of all we did, my brother made me sing country music like we was born and raised in Memphis, Tennessee. We spent whole afternoons begging, Ruby, don't take your love to town. We were singing daytime friends and nighttime lovers like old drunks reliving tragic lives. But my brother loved the gambler most of all. You gotta know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, know when to run. You never count your money. When you're sitting at the table, there'll be time enough for counting when the dealing's done. My brother sang the gambler like he was Kenny Rogers himself. I couldn't understand why he loved that song, but because I would have followed him anywhere just to please my brother, I sang the gambler with gusto. Then our mother returned and separated us, sent him to Mount Salem, left me in a place called Paradise, and disappeared again. The distance between my brother and me, only 2 miles, might as well have been 2,000. We became single children of Sisyphus, pushing the rock of abandonment up disparate mountains. No more Kenny Rogers. He switched to reggae. I listened to Melissa Etheridge, Sarah McLachlan, Michelle Ndege Ocello. We both tried so hard to remain close, but our love wasn't meant to survive, never meant for holiday dinners or lasting relationships. Our life was marked for infrequent, awkward reunions laced with sorrow. We lived every day pushing against our deep desire for love, needing people but guarding against it. Such is the delicate wiring of emotional dysfunction. The few good times we had were complicated, rare, magical. Circa 1999, we found compromise in Mariah Carey, speeding 100 miles per hour on the Autobahn. Windows down, we sang into the cold night, felt so alone, suffered through alienation, carried the weight on my own. Happy as I was, I remember thinking being a lesbian would one day cost me my first love, my big brother, the only boy whose opinion of me ever mattered. I needed my brother to love me, but I also needed him to know me. So I took a chance, baited fate and told him all about the girlish collisions on campus, the tacit lovers who went with me to illegal house parties in the hills in Jamaica, the pretty girls residing in the smallest closets on campus. I couldn't be silent anymore about any of them. I told my brother everything about the boys who assaulted me, about their hands, their fingers, their fists. He listened as I talked statistics, the rate at which they were killing people like me in Jamaica. And my almost twin, both of us discarded by our mother, both of us half-breeds, both seeds of my mother's ill-conceived youth. Only 2 years apart, my brother, who had no reason to, told me that he loved me. My Jamaican boy, raised on a stout diet of violent homophobia, said, "You are my sister, so it doesn't matter." And I didn't quite know how to show him how lucky I felt to be his sister. I wanted to sing The Gambler right there and then, but the moment wasn't right, so I just silently swore to love this boy forever. I knew then that our bond would survive anything. We loved each other, hard as we could, ill-matched as siblings, witness to each other's pain. We developed a routine of sustainability. Whenever we disagreed about anything, he would mostly walk away, and I would mostly not let him. At each fracture, I would remind him that we were all we had, each other, that we had survived our mother, that we can survive this. So the last time we argued, I was surprised how swiftly the tables turned. Without warning, you never see these things coming. In an instant, we were children again, forced to make beauty of tragedy. The house of cards we constructed collapsed. Hurt and unable to find a way forward, we both folded, bound and broken by all we had endured. We found ourselves unable to hold each other. Angry and intractable, my big brother walked away. And this time, I let him. It's painfully poetic that the contention was about our children. This irony proves everything about parenting and progeny. Generational trauma cannot be sidestepped. Today, there is nothing but sadness between us. I know nothing of his present life. He knows nothing of mine, except what he would find here in these private, public conversations, if he cared to look. Our childhood is no more than a silent scream, except for these old memories triggered by an old playlist, or maybe the death of a man we used to listen to together. This old playlist cartwheels me back to us as children, unwittingly belting out our future. You gotta know when to hold 'em, know when to fold 'em, know when to walk away, know when to run. Thank you for filming this, Chin. Thank you for listening, making room for my brother and for me and for Kenny Rogers and these ballads he inspired.